Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Two Bros, One Beard. The bearded brother Michael. This is my bro John.
What's up?
So today we have another new album review. One of our favorite bands, or at least mine. John, they're probably up there for you as well. We are talking about the new album by the band Redemption titled I Am the Storm. This album's been in the works for quite a while. I think it's 5 years between albums. It's their 8th studio album. It's their 2nd album in the Tom England era. It's their follow-up to 2018's Long Night's Journey into Day. And as far as the lineup goes, not really any changes, other than I think Vikram Shankar may have had more of a creative role on this album. He was, I believe, co-producer. So obviously we have Nick Van Dyke as the guitar player and the main songwriter, or the songwriter. I think he did all the songwriting. We got Chris Corardi. How do you say his last name?
That sounds right.
Corardi?
Yeah, Corardi.
Yeah. Sean Andrews on bass. Both these guys need more recognition. Maybe if I heard their name mentioned more, I would know how to say it. But I got, of course, the great Tom England on vocals, Vikram Shankar on keyboards and orchestrations, and we got Simone Mularoni. I don't know if I believe he just contributed guitar solos, I would guess. I don't know if he's
mixed and mastered.
Oh, he mixed and mastered it.
That's right.
We were wondering who mixed and mastered it.
That's right.
Awesome. So I just want to give my first impressions of the record, and then I'll throw it over to you, John.
Sounds good.
Yeah, like I said, Redemption is up there amongst my favorite bands. They're another progressive metal band, along the lines of a Dream Theater. They're a nice combination, Dream Theater, Symphony X, Fates Warning. If you kind of put them all together, you got Redemption. And I was super excited for this record. It's been 5 years, long break in between. What I noticed initially is it's definitely their heaviest sounding record, and I would say almost the least organic sounding. So it doesn't sound like, say Snowfall or The Art of Loss. Their last record was quite heavy sounding. It was mixed by Jacob Hansen. I thought this one was mixed by him, but I guess Simone did the mixing. And this Mortal Coil is a very heavy record, obviously because the theme, which made sense. So my initial thoughts were, I thought this record sounded a little too heavy for me. I prefer their, like I said, a cleaner, more organic sound. I think The Art of Loss was the perfect sounding Redemption record. I think it was mixed by the same guy who mixed Snowfall and Judgment Day. And I think it took a little bit away from the beauty of the record, and just kind of the beauty of this band, where the lyrics, maybe more so than any other band, really connect, with me personally. I love Nick's lyrics and melodies and choruses, and I thought maybe the heaviness took away from that. But there's some definite standouts. I will get to that. But that was just my initial impression. What do you think, John?
My initial impression was there was very little that grabbed me kind of right off the bat.
Okay.
I kind of found on just the first couple kind of just cursory listens, even spending a little more time with the singles as they were dropping, the first 3 songs.
Yeah.
Just was really forgettable.
Okay.
But all it took was kind of just certain melodies to kind of stick out into where it started to open my ears and my eyes a little more to kind of the brilliance of the record overall. So there was moments like, so I kind of was brushing past the first 3 songs because those were the singles and I had heard them. And then the emotional depiction of Light, when it goes into the chorus and Tom's hitting those falsetto notes, those were really jumping at me like, whoa, what's happening here? This is different.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it as far as like initial impressions, but
okay.
It's definitely a record, like all of their records, to be honest, that were growers on me for sure.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. My favorite of theirs is The Art of Loss, and my initial impression was I don't like this record at all. It took me a week to get it, And once I did, I was blown away. I think I put it maybe in my top 10, at least my top 15 of all time. I love that album.
Mhm.
So I was prepared for it to kind of grow on me, but I feel like I've gotten so into this band that I think I thought my initial impressions would remain kind of my thoughts on the record. I was surprised in the first few singles that they were so short.
Mm.
And I do nitpick my favorite bands. I tend to do that. So if I notice their kind of sweet spot is like the 6 to 10 minute mark. If a song is too short, I feel like it just didn't have enough time to breathe. And especially the second single, first one was the title track, "I Am the Storm." I'm forgetting the title of the second single.
I can't remember if it was 7 Minutes from Sunset or
There you go.
Remember the Dawn.
That's the one. 7 minutes from Sunset. To
Okay.
where I felt like the song was just getting going. We finally get that first chorus,
Yeah.
and then the song's almost over. So that was a little frustrating to me. So I don't think I loved any of the singles. I mean, "I Am the Storm," I really liked the chorus. Like I said, Nick's one of my favorite lyricists, and he's great at writing a really grabby chorus.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the first song, I guess actually I did like the third single, which is "Remember the Dawn," because it really reminded me of like Indulgent Color. I think that's the name of the song off their last record. Or
Yeah.
What was part one? "A Black and White World." I think that was a follow up to that.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of that song. I like how that's a song that actually had like a slower build.
Right.
And
good
you got
build.
to you got to really appreciate the musicianship in the beginning.
Mhm.
I feel like Nick got to tell like a full story in this song,
Mhm.
and it didn't feel too short. And then the chorus is a nice payoff. So you get all that build, and once you get to that chorus, he nails it like he typically does. A nice uplifting, positive chorus, and
Right.
then it reminded me also the theme of that song reminded me of something off like the quote from Dark Knight Rises is, "The night is always darkest before the dawn."
The night is darkest just before the dawn.
That's what I got as far as like the overall lyrical message.
Mhm.
Again, he's just one of those lyricists that really, really I connect with. He's able to convey or articulate the human condition unlike anyone else through in song form anyway that I could really recall. So yeah, that's the first song that really stood out to me. Is there one you want to discuss, John, before I move on to my next one?
Just kind of doing a song breakdown here. When I really decided to sit down and dive into the record with real intent, and what I really love, it helps me focus on the song, and I just love it. That feature on Apple Music where you get the lyrics that kind of just stream through.
Oh yeah, that's very nice. Yep.
That's when I really fell in love with the record, and especially the first 3 tracks, which on first listen of "I Am the Storm," I was kind of like, eh. But
although we do love the Breaking Bad clip in there because that just worked out perfect.
A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No, I am the one who knocks.
It was almost like he constructed a song around that.
I know.
That's
but on that repeat listens and being able to pay attention to the lyrics and stuff, one of the standout tracks on this record to me for sure is "I Am the Storm."
Okay.
Riff wise, I mean, man, it reminds me of it's like a Lost Nevermore song. It's just the riff is just so heavy. It's just such a, and I'm the opposite. I like the concise package every now and then. It's 4 minutes, 28 seconds. It just says what it needs to say. Great chorus. That breakdown is just brilliant with that excerpt that you mentioned from Breaking Bad. Absolutely killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then from there, I mean, the first 3 tracks are the only ones that have lyrics in Apple Music. So I was kind of continually hooked from there, as far as just reshaping my perception of the album, and really, really big fan of the first 4 tracks. But
okay,
we can go on from there. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other standout for me, which you already kind of talked about, was the emotional depiction of light. I always look forward to, I mean, they never do like a full-on ballad, So it's like kind of a progressive metal ballad where it has, you know, a bigger instrumentation. It's not just like keyboards or something. So the song does build. There's a lot of layers to it. I like, you know, the addition of a like acoustic guitar, because I think this album needed it because it was just so heavy. And then Vikram's presence is really felt on this one. I felt like it was just a nice, it almost felt like a blend of Redemption and Silent Skies. I thought this was my favorite Tom England performance was on this song.
Yeah,
and
me
you know,
too.
he just really captures the emotion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems to me to be like a deeply personal love song, kind of like an almost condensed version of At Day's End. That's what I almost like how it sounded like a love story about him and his wife. It could, maybe it's not, but I feel like Nick really tends to write really personal lyrics, and that's what I got from it anyway. And then the other two really big standouts for me are the two epics, Action at a Distance and All This Time. I would say as of right now, Action at a Distance is my favorite track on the album, because it's the most classic sounding Redemption song. It sounds like something off their first record, or off Snowfall or something. Just a ton of tempo changes, great vocal arrangements on this one. I love, I mean, the melodies are killer, especially on the bridge into the chorus. And the chorus will give you goosebumps. It's just one of those great Redemption choruses, and really showcases Tom's voice on this one. And then there's a cool like orchestral section, which is something kind of Vikram brought to the table that maybe we haven't heard from a Redemption song. It's a nice little break from all the, you know, the heaviness and the technicality and stuff, and he comes in with that nice soft moment. And then there's still a cool like instrumental breakdown at like the 8-minute mark. And then so it was something different. It was, I mean, it had the classic Redemption sound, but you got to hear what Vikram brought to the table. Any thoughts on that song, John?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about that particular track. I noticed that he does the same thing on All This Time. So the two epics, more or less, they have that moment, not quite the middle of the song, but I guess kind of prior to the big, you know, finish, where it allows for some space, and Vikram really does kind of some pretty arrangement. And just a tangent for a second. I was reading some criticism about there being like too many solos on this record, which is kind of a thing for Redemption. But what I noticed is I don't think I've heard more keyboard solos ever than on this record. So I don't know if like a couple people weren't really focusing and maybe thought those were guitars, but there's a lot of
possible. There's definitely one on All This Time, which is just killer.
Yeah, there's just, you know, really fast runs, and just really showcases his kind of full technical prowess, you know, his
true,
kind of his Jordan Rudess side. And but at the same time, he's getting those more tender moments to write kind of more extended passages, I think, like notably on Action at a Distance, for sure. Those are the two tracks too, by the way, that have taken the longest for me to really appreciate. But I think part of it is and I think Nick, to a fault, when he has a story to tell, darn it, he's going to get that story out. And there's just this, there's, you know, until you really start to appreciate what they're doing, I think for a lot of listeners, and even me, I'm guilty of this on the first handful of listens to a new Redemption song, especially the longer ones. I'm like, yeah, I think this is kind of, need to wrap this one up. But what's happening is, you know, there's more to this, you know, idea or story he's trying to communicate, and it's just
it's an actual story.
Yes.
You know, so you got to kind of wait for he's just a different unconventional lyricist, where it's almost free versed. And sometimes it takes a while to get to the chorus. It's like he has
just get to you know, the conclusion of whatever he's trying to say. And that happens, as far as I can recall, on all of their records, on some songs. But you know, compare that to I Am the Storm, where it says what it needs to say and then the song ends. You know, it's not necessarily this long narrative about something that's happened or something a greater thing he's trying to communicate. For me, I got, especially on All This Time, I was picking up, because I haven't actually seen the lyrics, but I was picking up on maybe hints of just kind of, just how fleeting time is, time with your children, time with your spouse, time with friends, and just kind of this, appreciating every moment thing. And I can really, really appreciate that about, this particular track.
Yeah. Or what really hit home for me was it seemed to be talking about, or how tough it is to watch your child get older, especially.
Right.
I think he talks about like entering her empty room.
Yes.
Guessing he's talking about his daughter, and maybe he didn't cherish the time enough, or just didn't feel like he had enough time with his daughter, which really hit home. We're both dads, so that's something that I always think about a lot. It seems like days and months and years just fly by, and you feel like you just missed so much, Well, and you wish you could go back.
Yeah, and I think for
slow
him,
down,
on an even further relatable note to the listener, is Nick's not a guy that's actively touring.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I've a few shows here and there. So, okay, what, you don't see your kids for a weekend? That's one thing. But we know that he is a very busy, high-level executive at the companies he's worked at. And so it's relatable in the sense of, we all have jobs, we all have day jobs, and you can get really invested in that. And you can sort of kind of build your, your professional kingdom and forget about, that what's really lasting and what's most important. And so I'm sure there's, to him, there has to have been times where he got too invested in work. I can't imagine being at that level.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
not having, more time probably than the average, 9-to-5er.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Probably, could be looking back with some regret, but then at the same time, I don't know. But
it seems like kind of the end of the song is kind of saying it's never too late.
There's a new season now of, what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah, exactly. And I think what are the lyrics here? I think I have it. Like his advice is I think the line is reach out and make the best of your connection. So it's never too late to, obviously to reconnect with your, I'm guessing adult children he's more kind of referencing now. You could still make time even later in their lives,
Well, and then also
don't just let time pass by, make the effort and reach out to people.
Yeah. And Tom gets to, as somebody singing these lyrics, I'm sure was able to find that real personal connection to it too. He's got
for sure. Yeah.
One daughter who's, I imagine, is an adult at this point, but he also just had a son. So, but I mean, how cool is that to be able to, be able to hand that off to your singer, something that's so relatable.
Yeah.
And I think for sure, he's able to convey that in his performance.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
So do you have any least favorite tracks? I know you mentioned Action at a Distance was the favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
Least favorite, what would I say? I mean, I think we both talked about this. I don't think we needed 2 cover songs for sure.
No, sure didn't.
Well, I mean, I can't grade, maybe, the least favorite being a cover. It's not technically their song. I could have done without Turn It On. I think Red Rain worked as a closer. If you want to make Turn It On like a bonus track or something, but I just didn't think it fit with the rest of the record. And I just didn't think we needed 2 covers. But I would say probably, I'm forgetting the name of the second single again.
7 Minutes from Sunset?
7 Minutes from Sunset. I guess I would have to say that just because I felt like the song, there was like more to tell in that song. Either you add, one more verse and the chorus again, give me something, and then maybe a little more extended instrumental section. Like we were talking about with All This Time, there's like that great instrumental break. It's my favorite on the record, is towards the end, especially when you get that sweet slap in the bass moment where you have to, it's like one of those where you're air bassing.
Slap at the bass, mama. Slapping the bass, mama. There you go. Slap at that bass, mama.
And it's just killer. And where they go like full Dream Theater. I wish they would do that more. Give me a big, 2 to 3 minute instrumental break, and then go back into a final verse or chorus.
Mhm.
So yeah, what would you say are your least favorite?
Resilience is the least favorite song.
Resilience. I think that
Yeah.
might be my choice.
I just
forgot about
it's
that. To me, it's
there's
like I Am the Storm Part 2, and I almost feel like it
I don't
was
think it's anywhere near
needed.
as good. And
well, as far as lyrics, it's like it
I,
seems to
I
be.
guess, yeah, I
yeah.
just think that the verse kind of has this sort of almost kind of sing talk kind of thing going, and then I was thinking about the song on Art of Loss. Is it remind me is it the 30 Pieces song? The
Oh yeah, 30 silver.
30 Silver, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about 30 Silver though is it goes into just a perfect chorus. Like one that you're going to remember. It's profound and it's interesting. And I think I Am Resilience is just kind of like that's the payoff we're going for here. So it's my least favorite for sure.
There's no profundity there. Really.
Right.
It's just kind of like.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I wanted a little more. And then, getting back to the covers, you said that it's maybe not fair to rank them in the ranks of or grade them in the ranks of the other songs. But, both you and I have talked about when we look back on The Art of Loss, we both feel like Love Reign Over Me is like a highlight. It's not a, you know what I mean? And so I think that, and to some degree, I think that New Year's Day was,
it fit. Yeah.
It fit. It was great. It was kind of in the middle of the album. But to me, to end the record with a cover and then to throw one in, like I don't like Turn It On Again, period. I don't care if it is Phil Collins singing it.
Yeah.
And so yes, we didn't need 2 covers, but I'll take them if they're going to be extras. Like, I mean, there's a version of sorry, what's the record before Art of Loss again?
This Mortal Coil.
This Mortal Coil has like a bonus edition with, like 6 covers.
Yeah.
Fine. But here's the thing though, and this is something I wanted to touch on, is there's 2 additional studio tracks to this record. And so that's obnoxious in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But let me add to that. There's only a vinyl version that has those songs, or in other words, there's not like a bonus CD version. There's not a deluxe CD or a limited edition CD.
Yeah.
You can only get those songs on vinyl, and you can't download them. I've checked everywhere. And just to make sure I wasn't crazy, I went on AFM's website. I looked everywhere. Amazon, Walmart, Target. I was like, there has to be a bonus edition CD somewhere. There's not.
Wait, these are 2 like completely new songs?
Yes.
Huh.
Yep.
That is bizarre.
It is bizarre. And it's like, well, think about folks who, I mean, gosh, so many folks don't have turntables, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to hear these songs? So to me, it's like,
and aren't going to fork out $30 for a vinyl just for a couple songs.
No, but I can understand, why bands do this or why labels may push for it. And obviously it's to, push physical sales. But this is such a rare case where there's not an alternative media format for this, for folks who, because I mean, I would pay, just like with the last record, I didn't necessarily need Tom's version of Noonday Devil.
Yeah.
But at least when you bought the deluxe edition of Long Night's Journey and you got that song. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I think that for a few extra bucks, that would definitely incentivize people to pay a little more to get that. And same thing here. I mean, if it was a double disc version of this album and instead of it being, $16, it's like 22, I'd probably pay that.
Yeah.
But I don't really need this album on vinyl. So I'm kind of like, and then also like, I don't know if those songs are going to be any good. So it's just,
if they are really good, it's almost frustrating because I would just kind of sub out the 2 covers, and then they have like a remix for. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Oh, and there's that too. Yeah, the remix version. So there's really 3 tracks on this that are kind. I could definitely do without. I mean, because you have All This Time and Action at a Distance, they're longer songs.
Mm-hmm.
Really, we're talking about a 7-track album, which honestly is plenty of music. Those 7 alone would give you, 55 minutes of music.
Yeah.
Or 50. Who knows? But it's plenty for an album.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I think that's my biggest gripe with it is not so much the songwriting or anything about the music itself. It's just this packaging and just
Hmm.
who knows, it doesn't really sound like it was any one particular band member's decision. This sounds like a record label decision, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just so weird. And yeah, so I mean, I'd love to be able to also review those songs, but no idea what they sound.
I had no idea. I mean, I
Yeah,
almost want to, yeah, let's go halvesies on a vinyl so we could hear these, hear
right.
these songs. But yeah, I didn't know. That's weird. I've never heard of that before. Usually there's some way of purchasing
Yeah,
extra songs. It's
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean my final thoughts on the record. Like I said, I felt like it was just a little too heavy. I don't want like this band going in that heavy of a direction. It's not like they sound like Evergrey, but it's like Evergrey level heaviness. And I don't think the mix was perfect. It makes sense that I mean, no offense to Simone, he's done some good work, but he's not Jacob Hansen. He's not like a Jens Bogren. I think they need someone like that to mix the record. So I wouldn't, and then just overall the songs, I wouldn't rank this record very low on their best. It would be one of my least favorite Redemption records for sure. But like I said, I mean, there's some standouts. The epics are fantastic, and the ballad are remember the dawn and the emotional depiction of light are great. Everything else I could kind of do without. So yeah, I kind of had to judge this kind of harshly. It's one of my favorite bands, so I expect greatness. And I think after 5 years, it didn't quite live up to my expectations. What do you think, John?
I'm going to agree with the last thing you said. I think given the time frame, doesn't quite live up to my expectations. I think if you take out the covers, throw on at least one of those two songs we haven't heard.
Yep.
Get rid of the remix. Again, that could be on a bonus disc or something. I think perhaps this could fill out to me to be on par with the last album, because to me the standout moments are so good that they're as standout to me as anything on the last record. So
okay,
the greatness of I am the storm, the emotional depiction of light. I mean, gosh, that chorus that's probably my favorite song on the album, just because it's just so beautiful and just like so uplifting. And it's like if I don't know, to me it almost resembles kind of like the best of like U2 and those kinds of moments, but while still being kind of heavy. It's just awesome. And
it seems to be getting the most buzz from the album. I think so.
Yeah, because it's to me it's one of the most different things I've heard them do, and then the two longer tracks. I'm sure I will continue to appreciate those more and more over time. So
yeah,
as far as kind of like in their overall catalog, I mean, I still find this more listenable than I think their first handful of albums for sure.
Really? I think you need to go back and listen to the fullness of time.
Well, yeah, I might have to do that, but but having
that's the album when I first heard it, and I think I spent like 2 years trying to convince you to get into this band. It took a while.
It took probably yeah. But that's where I'm at right now. I think I'd still prefer to listen to this over trying to dig into that older stuff, which I own. I could do that, but and then I think my last thought, and I hate to say this, but I'm a really big fan of Tom's voice, but I still really miss Ray in this band, and I think that the album could only be better if he was the singer on it, and it's not anything about Tom's voice being bad or anything like that. It's just what I got accustomed to.
Yeah.
And I just and when I go back and listen to like The Art of Loss or Snowfall and Judgment Day or anything like that, it's just like, man, this is the sound. And
yeah, so
it's still hard for me to kind of get past that, but at the same time, I want to continue to experience more and more from this band, and I hope they have tons of longevity here from here on out. And
yeah,
it'd be really cool to see something drop in less than 5 years for sure.
Yeah, that would be nice. I thought it definitely would. I was surprised that it took so long to make this record. And yeah, speaking of, I mean, the singer, I mean, we were so excited if you were to tell us that, you know, when Ray was in the band, hey, you know, they're getting a new singer who should replace Ray. You know, Tom would probably be on the top of our list. And when we found out that he was the new singer, it was before we even knew Ray was leaving. I think it kind of got leaked through Prog Power or something. And we're like, hey, I mean, if you're going to replace him, that's the guy. Tom's in my top 5 favorite vocalists. But it just goes to show you that no matter who you replace, you know, a certain singer with, it's like sometimes it doesn't quite fit. You know, it's you got a guy of equal talent, but if because Ray was so key to their sound, it's just hard to get used to a new singer. But yeah, but since I love Tom's voice so much, I'm not gonna nitpick there. But
All right. There's
All right.
my thoughts, bro.
well, there's our. I hope you enjoyed our review of the new Redemption record titled "I Am the Storm." Yeah, I think we got like, you know, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down maybe on this record. We're kind of in the middle here. We recommend that you go out and buy the vinyl because there's 2 extra tracks for you.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, we still love this band and wish them all the best of luck and all the success in the world. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Well, hope you enjoyed this video, and we appreciate any likes or subscribers. And we will catch you on the next one. We got another review coming up. Hope you take care.
Take care.